All right, we are live. Can you hear me? Can you see me, Lana?
I can wait. Where are you?
I'm in
Just kidding.
no, so we are experiencing technical difficulties. It's a shitty way to start out
Hold on.
2024.
Yeah, there we go.
Um, I am doing this from my iPad, so I don't have my damn clips, which really sucks. But you know what? Lana's extremely smart. I consider myself smart.
Yeah.
Um, and I think we can figure it out as we go along. So, first of all, Happy New Year to you, Lana.
Happy New Year.
Are you excited about 2024? That's the right answer.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just hey, you know what I'm excited for, which is totally not related to any of this, but I just wanted to tell everybody and anybody who listens, I ran 10 miles
Oh,
Friday.
okay.
And then I'm like, this is a fluke because the farthest I've run is 7, and that wasn't hard, but like I just get mentally bored.
By
But
the
I
way,
did
this 10 miles on the road or on like
on
a
my treadmill, 1 hour
treadmill?
and
All
40
right.
minutes,
All right.
10 miles. I did that Friday. Then I'm like, it's a fluke. Then I'm like, let me do it again. So I did it Saturday, and then I did it Monday.
So it's not a fluke.
Now I can just I can do a half a marathon because I want
So
to do a
now,
half a marathon.
so now it's nothing for you.
No, because once I get to 5, I'm like, oh, I'm at 5.
Do you go
Wow.
the same speed the whole time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I mean, and
mightily impressive.
I can't even go past 10 miles because it's like a small treadmill. It doesn't have the handles, like it just pushes underneath the bed.
Yeah.
So the speed only goes to
Oh, I
6,
got you. Yeah.
right? So I can't even go faster than 6. So it's a 10-minute mile.
Yeah.
Um, and then after 10 miles, it like resets itself. It's like, yeah, okay, we don't have
Well,
to go that far.
that's very impressive. And
Yeah.
a lot of people who, they may be starting now since it's the new year. That might be
Yeah.
their New Year's resolution. So, you might not have to necessarily aim for 10 miles like Lana does,
Yeah.
but, 1 mile to start out with,
I
half a mile.
started 5 years ago, 1 mile. Like 5 years ago, I was like, I'm gonna start running because it's something that I could never conquer. Like I
Yeah.
was always like, I felt like I was gonna pass out because I was like that. Zoom! And then like after a minute, you're just like, like
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a heart attack. But I 5 years it has taken me to get here where it's more of mind over. I'm watching Game of Thrones. So like me running like that is just
Yeah.
like because I'm so focused on what I'm watching.
Yeah. No,
I
well,
mean,
good for you. I mean, that's a great accomplishment, and it's a good way to start out the year. Did you do anything New Year's Eve? Are you partying
me
or are you?
now just hung out with the family. We ordered like some Indian food. I had like some cauliflower, something, whatever, and some naan bread or whatever it's called. And we watched Celtics played New
Yes.
Year's Eve. We watched that game and then we watched like a movie.
Yep.
Yeah, just hung out with family. What did you do? Christmas and New Year's.
Christmas, just spent time with the family, and of course, Christmas Day there was football on, and then New Year's Eve there was an extremely important football game on for me. I think I told you about my love and passion for the Miami Dolphins, and that game was the biggest game for them in 30 plus years,
You
and I
said.
was so excited, so ready, so jacked up for that game, and they got beat down so badly that it ruined my whole fucking day. And I did nothing because I was that mad. And I know that might sound trivial and it might sound stupid to some people. I'm telling you that ruined my day
Yeah.
because I have aspirations of seeing this team in the Super Bowl. And I really thought
Yeah.
there was a possibility
Yeah.
after that game. I think our chances went down significantly.
No.
It's not over yet, but it ruined my day or that day. But the next day, there was some college football playoffs on, so I met up with friends. We watched, football and stuff like that, and had a good time. So we rung in the new year, and obviously, it is 2024, and as you and
Yeah.
I have talked about on numerous occasions, this is going to be probably the craziest, wackiest year. I mean, in possibly American political
Yeah,
history.
it is. It
You
is.
know, outside of, and by the way, if I were to ask you what caused the Civil War, because maybe that was, pretty crazy back then too, would you be able to answer that question?
What caused the Civil War? I think it was Obama.
It was definitely Obama. Definitely had something to do with it.
Yeah.
Uh, there's no question.
It wasn't because of slavery or any of that.
Because of what?
It wasn't because of slavery. It was
Because of
Obama.
what?
It's like-
Well, that was one of my clips, by the way, and
oh,
it's been seen a million times, so obviously maybe the clip isn't necessary,
right.
but you saw
Tee it
Nikki
up. You can tee it up and act it out. Like
right? Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not that hard. She was asked what caused the Civil War, which sounds like a pretty easy question.
correct.
Not even pretty easy. It sounds like probably the easiest question she's got since she's been on the campaign trail.
Right.
And she dribbled on
Dribbled.
about,
Yeah.
I don't know, what was the word? She used all kinds of words outside of the one word that she probably should have used. And then when she was asked further on, what about slavery? I'm surprised. Actually, the guy even said, I'm surprised in 2023 that you went through that whole entire answer and did not mention slavery. And her response is, what do you want me to say about slavery?
Yeah. I just like, whoa, Nikki Haley, whoa.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, here, and this is at least pretty clear to me. The reason why she doesn't want to mention slavery is because that sounds too woke for her type of voter. And the fact that if you mention the word slavery, that might bother some of your voters should probably tell you something about your candidacy and about your party. I don't know. I would be like, yeah, it was slavery. And if anybody has a problem with me saying that, I don't really care. Don't vote for me then. How about
because
that?
it's true. And that's just the really insidious nature of all of this because, we laugh about it, we grin about it. She can't say it. We know that's crazy and ridiculous, but, when people talk about it and the reason why she can't say it is because they're trying to it's that continuously whitewashing of history. Like if she says it, that means that it was true. So she can't say it. Like I understand it's anti-wokeness, but they also don't want to admit that it even happened. Like they're anti-diversity. Nothing, you just can't say that. Like it's just not a thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's almost on the same lines of people who deny the Holocaust.
Right.
What? I mean, it happened. It's not. I mean, I don't even understand how it's woke. I mean, it is a pretty clear message, or it's pretty clear that slavery, I don't care, regardless of who it was, is one of the worst possible human things that anybody can invoke on another human being.
Right.
So why is this such a hard, awful thing to say? And Ron DeSantis has the balls to call out Nikki Haley when he, in his own state, is trying to basically eliminate slavery in the history books.
Right. Like it's so bizarre. And the other thing about Nikki Haley, the other frustrating thing about her is that, she's born in South Carolina, but her parents were born in India. And they came here, I think I talked about this before, off the backs of the civil rights movement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that helped them. The Civil Rights Act helped her parents get here. It helped them come in and under the laws that were beneficial to people of color. Well, I guess it's beneficial when you didn't have anything, right? Like they came in and that's how they got their jobs and that's how they got bought their houses all under that Civil Rights Act. That's why they weren't getting lynched, right? Like we were, because someone had already fought for that, fought
Yeah.
for their rights. And her parents came in under the Civil Rights Act movement, and for her to turn her back is just like even a double slap in the face. Like, wow, how
Yeah.
did you think you got here?
Yeah, yeah, and she even had a chance to somewhat correct her mistake, if that's what you want to call it. I'm not sure it was a mistake. It seems to me like it was intentional because, again, you're trying not to upset um, a, a set of voters that, for some reason, would throw their hands up in the air and say, "Oh, that's so woke." But when she was asked about it again, of course, she did the obligatory. Of course, slavery was bad. Of course, we know that. You know, why would I even need to bring it up? Sort of attitude. That's so ridiculous that I would even need to bring up slavery because we all already know that. That was her attitude towards it. But then she started going on again with another word salad about capitalism and states'
Right.
rights and all
Yeah.
that garbage and whatever the fuck she
Yeah.
says. But
Yeah. There was a time when you were called a racist, like no one wanted to be called that. Like,
yeah.
bigot. They like, I'm not like, it was just, you'd get up in arms, like you said something that can be considered, racist. It was problematic. Now no one cares.
No.
Like, they have minimized it that much. Like, they're doing their job. Like, they're really succeeding in doing what they're supposed to be doing, because one place you got the politicians who don't give a fuck anymore. Like, they just deny that it's a thing. And then by not teaching history in the schools, you're just putting kids to sleep. Like, they don't think about it anymore. A lot, not all of them, but a lot of them, they just don't. Like it's just not a thing that's happening right now anymore because of what they're doing. And it's really,
which is shocking, especially in 2023. You thought there was a lot of inroads that have been made, and I still think that there have been a lot of inroads that have been made. And I think because of a lot of people acknowledging and accepting and all this stuff, that we did win over a lot of people, and change their thought and change their minds in so many different aspects, not just with race, but with homophobic sort of ideas, and with xenophobic ideas, and just all kinds of the women's movement, the Me Too movement. You can't go to work and continuously just comment on your secretary's, chest or ass, or, and it's just so many strides have been made over the years, but it still seems now so in our face. Like, it is not even just a denial, but it is a battle back and a fight back, where it's like, you know what, this is our almost kind of last stand, and we're going to throw everything we've got at it. And in some respects, it's winning.
Yeah. It like, it's really a war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, it's really sad, but we were talking about how things are going, and what we see today. I saw that the Republicans did their trip to the border, this political stunt that they always do, because the problem for them now is they can't talk about jobs. They can't talk about the economy. They can't talk about inflation anymore. They can't talk about the stock market.
Right.
They can't bring up any of this stuff. So what do they always revert back to?
Right.
Is the fucking border.
Right.
And this border, and I think you and I would agree, and I think President Biden would agree, Kamala Harris would agree. I think everybody that is involved with the border would agree that it is an issue. It has been an issue for as long as I remember, before Biden, before Trump, before Obama, before Bush, before Clinton,
This forever.
It's been going on. Now, of course, we are seeing a larger amount of people trying to come through the border. And, part of that to me is It is messaging. It is just still this dirty, deep down messaging that gets from this country to Mexico that lets people know you have a president now that will allow you guys in. So just come storm the border.
Right.
We now have
Right.
a Democratic president. And
Right.
even though these people are impoverished and they're, a lot of them have nowhere to go, they still know how to get the news of what's going on in the United
Right.
States.
Right.
And there are a lot of people giving them the idea
Right.
that because there's a Democratic president in
Right.
there, he's just going to let you in. That's not the case. Because there's a Democratic president in there,
Right.
he's not going to want to shoot you down by trying
Right.
to cross the border. That's really
Right.
the difference.
Right.
So I think that's where there's a big mistake there, and I think
Right.
that's where a lot of people get confused. What's funny is that even Biden gets a little bit of pushback from his own party because some of his policies on the border are still sort of reflecting Trump's.
Right.
He
Right.
is, the border policy is, and for migrants, if you cross the border and you touch American soil, you automatically could apply for asylum.
Right.
And Biden is trying to push that away a little bit. He's trying to push it into ports. He's trying to push it into something
Right.
that is a little bit instead of the illegal way.
Right.
And, that's being kind of shit upon. But also, Joe Biden has also asked for close to $14 billion to add people to the border
Right.
to control the fentanyl.
Yeah.
The Republicans are saying no. And the reason
Right.
why they're saying no is because it's fucking Biden that's doing it. And
Right.
they want to give him any credit for anything.
Right.
And
And
not to mention, I'm sorry, Lana,
no, go ahead. Go
not
ahead.
to mention, this is all being controlled by Donald Trump and fucking Steve Bannon and all these fuckers.
Absolutely. But I was also going to say, not only they don't want to give it to him because it's Biden, they wouldn't even do it if it was Trump. Like Trump wouldn't even suggest all that money going towards the border because they don't want to fix. That is one problem
Yeah.
that they never ever want it to be fixed. It's all fake because, as you and I know, if they really wanted to fix it, they would really sit down at the table and try to get some bipartisan talk and don't come with something so ridiculous that Democrats are going to be like, no, right? You have to. And I heard today Democrats are honestly walking back on a lot of the things that they held firm on just so they can get something and start to talk about something and get something done. But Republicans, again, don't want it because if they wanted it, it would have been fixed when Trump was in office for 4 years. Why wasn't it fixed? Where is the wall? What is going on? They don't want it fixed, and stupid MAGAs keep skipping over. Trump was the president too.
Yeah. But see, the MAGA people are under the assumption that nobody crossed the border when Donald Trump was in office. They have this idea, and it is, and I'm really pissed that I don't have my clips because I do have clips of just people spouting out shit that is just completely not fucking true.
Right.
And it's being listened to by millions and millions of people,
Right.
and they take it as gospel, and it
Right.
just drives me in fucking insane. But you have, I keep going back, and by the way, my name is Brian Rundle. This is Lana Quest, Fight Show, and I will be a guest on your show tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah.
And we will be interviewing a gentleman who is running against Stephen Holden, I believe his name is.
His name is.
Yep, and he will be running against Elise Stefanik in New York, which is obviously a race that the Democrats would love to win.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I would like to talk to him about too, and one thing you and I talk about all the time, is this messaging. And it's
Right.
always being blamed on Democrats that they don't message well.
Right.
I contend that the messaging on the other side is so much stronger because they are messaging to a group of people who will accept whatever they say.
Correct.
The Democrats and CNN and NBC, they're not going to be accepted by whatever they say, even though they probably should be accepted more than the other side.
Right. And that makes sense, right? Because The Republicans aren't diverse. It's one
Right.
mind, one brain cell, one thought process. They all think alike. So it's easier, like you said, to put a message to them. They don't question it. They just run with it. It doesn't matter. Like none of it matters. The truth doesn't matter to them. You could put out a lie. They won't Google it. Whereas, like you said, Democrats can't just tell us anything because we're gonna be like, this doesn't sound right.
To research it more.
Yeah,
I do it all the time. I swear, if I see something through Twitter or Facebook, whatever it is, and it looks positive for the Democrats or something that I want to use as a case point or whatever it is, I don't just go, oh, blah, 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 blah. That's it. I research it more
Right.
just to make sure that what I'm saying is not
Right.
right. And I'm not saying everything that comes out of my mouth is 100% correct. I would say it's probably 98%.
Mine either.
Yeah, no, but it's just this whole idea of messaging we've talked about this a lot of times, and it really does get frustrating because everybody's like, I don't know what to do. What do we do? What do we do? And there's nothing you can do because you have a side that will believe no matter what.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, even if you present facts. I'm going to give an example. The Washington Post just recently put out a difference between the economy and everything between Biden and Trump. And I made a comment on it, and surprisingly got a lot of, people were talking about it. But one of the things that's in my industry, they're talking about the housing prices and they're talking about the interest rates. Well, they talked about the interest rates and how the interest rates have doubled, maybe tripled since Joe Biden took office. But what they didn't say is why. And I went through the whole reason as to why. And the only response you get from Trump supporters is you have TDS, which is that stupid Trump derangement syndrome or whatever the fuck it is. And look, some guy even actually responded and said, if your response would be a little bit better if you'd go point by point on how he's wrong, but all you're saying is TDS. And that's all you say. And that's all they do because they don't know what to say back.
Right. Because partly they don't understand it. It's just like, the interest rates are high. Biden sucks. And it's like, well, yeah, he had to put interest rates up to slow down the fucking
the inflation
on fucking fire. We had to slow it down so we didn't go into a recession. Like
that's one of the biggest things that drives me crazy. In fact, Donald Trump, I think he was in one of his rallies the other day talking about, when I was president, a mortgage would be on a whatever priced home would be $1,300. Now it's $1,800, but it doesn't even matter. You can't get the money from the bank anyway, and that's not true.
Nobody was buying any houses during the fucking pandemic. Like, of course, it was. Like,
well, I will say during the pandemic,
did people buy houses?
Oh, it was exploding, and the reason why. Well, it was exploding all over the place, and the reason why is because the interest rates were at 2.6%. So they found a way. They're like, I don't.
But that makes and that's the thing that makes a recession, right? Like when, like that's dangerous.
Well, that was one of my points too, and we've made it on this show before. Is that if you look back, the Federal Reserve during the Trump administration, even though Trump's not responsible for the Federal Reserve and they work independently of Donald Trump,
they?
They're supposed to, and in that instance, maybe they didn't, because I do recall Donald Trump basically saying the feds need to lower the rates. Feds need to lower the rates.
Right.
In hindsight, it turns out that it was not the best idea because we did not necessarily need it to go all the way down that low. Because now all of a sudden it has just created a inventory problem because you have a bunch of people who won't sell their homes because they're under a 2% interest rate. Why would they sell their home at 2% versus something that now is coming down? By the way, we're getting back into the sixes, and we do see we do expect to see 3 rate cuts in the next year. So, but anyway, that just goes back to the point though of just the Trump people believing that, and even just the average person who doesn't really look into this that much think, well, gosh dang, the interest rates were better during Trump. I got to admit that. And you're just like, no, but you don't understand why. And the fact that you have even a periodical like the Washington Post not clearly explaining why
Right.
is
Right.
disappointing.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree. It's like they're not doing their due diligence. It's like they're playing a part in like misinformation.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what it is. Misinformation, whatever.
Right, right, right. I'm like, is it disinformation? Like, did they do it purposely? I don't.
Yeah, and it's that's disappointing, and it's I even see it on just clips from the other news networks that are not Fox News or not Newsmax. I think I saw a clip today where they were praising the insulin prices starting today will be going down to $35 for seniors.
Mhm.
And not once during the story on CNN and the person that was talking about it with the anchor on CNN, not once did they mention that that was because of Joe Biden. Not once.
And that's the problem, right? Exactly. And they never do local either, because local news has talked about the insulin prices going down. But you're right; it doesn't say, the Biden administration fought for this.
Yeah.
They
In the
fought
Inflation
for this,
Reduction Act is the
right?
reason why insulin now is $35. They did not mention it once. You know who they praised? The fucking pharmaceutical companies. What are you fucking nuts? They can't stand that insulin is
Right,
$35 a month. How
right,
see that's what just makes me so fucking angry. And because of shit like that,
right,
this gives a guy with 91 felony counts who's a
right.
clear racist, who's a clear bigot, who's a
Yeah,
clear a person who sexually assaults women
yeah,
is could possibly win the presidency. And this is insanity. This is
right.
fucking nuts.
Should not even be close.
No.
Shouldn't even be a thought. It should. No one out here should be like, I'm not sure. Like that just shouldn't be.
How about when they say this is gosh, I don't know who to pick, and I might sit this one out because I don't know who the lesser of both evils are. I'm like, how the fuck do you compare Joe Biden being an evil person to Donald Trump, who clearly is an evil person?
Right.
And he's a fucking
Right.
moron.
And even if you didn't know about insulin, even if you didn't know about broadband being put up in your bridges
Yeah.
and where all of that work is come, even if you didn't know that, even if you put these two old people side by side, you gotta fucking know that one is a raving fucking lunatic,
Yep.
right? And one, you gotta create AI fucking fake videos of him like touching children to make him seem like he's evil, because on his face, he's just an old man just trying to put the work in. Like it's just.
Did you happen to catch the Joe Rogan clip?
With him backtracking after he said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, and this is the kind of thing
Right.
that just irritates me
He
because you
has,
have somebody,
he has dementia. Oh, Trump said that. Oh.
he has more listeners, I guarantee you, than people who
Yeah.
watch CNN and whatever.
Right.
And he is literally on there talking about Joe Biden, saying, "Did you hear him the other day talking about the airports and laughing at Joe Biden?" First of all, he wasn't even talking to some political person. He was talking to some idiotic MMA fighter. And I was saying, because you're an MMA fighter, you're an idiot. But that guy was a fucking idiot.
But that one was. Yeah.
Yeah, that one was an idiot. So he's going on and he's like, if you saw this at work, man, and you just heard, a guy say that, what was it, World War, what was he talking about? Which war was he talking about? World War One, maybe.
Was it the
Oh no,
revolution?
the Revolutionary War.
Yeah.
The Revolutionary War. That they took over the airports. And
Yeah.
he said that was Biden. And then, of course, his producer cut in and said, "Hey, Joe, hold on a second. That wasn't Biden who said it. He was referencing Donald Trump." And then when he found out it was Donald Trump, he was like, "Oh, well, he just made a mistake." And then that fucking moron that he's talking to, he's like, "Yeah, that's why nowadays you got to check things out."
I hate these people because it's like they know better, right? For him to like go,
I'm
oh,
sure in
that's
that case they did. I think that they may be that stupid.
yeah,
And
but how can he be that stupid if if it was Biden, he's going dementia, and then it's Trump, he finds out like, oh, Trump said that? Oh, it's not dementia. He made a mistake. Like
right.
that's purposeful. Like
Yeah.
that's a purposeful. I don't care what Trump does, we gotta support Trump.
Well, no,
Like,
I think it's clear. I think what you're trying to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, what you're trying to say is it's clear that he is a Trump supporter
right,
and not a Biden supporter.
right,
It would blow my mind to think that he on purpose said that Biden said this, or maybe
right.
he
No, I
got
don't. Right, I
caught
don't
in a way.
believe that.
Did he
Right.
say it hoping he didn't get caught? Maybe
No,
hoping.
no. Right. That's not what I was saying.
Yeah.
He was, because he's a Trump supporter, he has to like, although that just proves that they fucking know that Trump is an idiot. They know he's a racist. They know
Yeah.
he's a bigot, but it doesn't matter. Even it's like, and what is why Joe Rogan? Like that's I understand the lawmakers.
Yeah.
I get that they want the power, but like people like Joe Rogan, I mean, it's not like he's a billionaire or like,
Well, he signed like a $100 million
oh, so he
contract
is, so
with
he's in the tax bracket now. So is
no,
that what?
he signed a monster deal with Spotify. So he's
Okay,
only on Spotify, and it's I
gotcha.
want to say it was over $100 million.
Okay, so he's in a
So
different tax
oh,
bracket
he's
at
in a
this point.
different, yeah.
Oh,
And
so I got
that's
it.
the thing. And you know what it is? Joe Rogan and, people like Joe Rogan, they are these guys who just don't like this idea of people that don't look like them, now being able to be part of the conversation, now being able to, and I'm not saying Joe Rogan, I've heard some things about Joe Rogan, like he didn't really care about the Bud Light thing. He didn't care, so,
Right,
but what bothers me is that Joe Rogan's being listened to as an expert on
right.
politics by hundreds of
Expert.
millions of people. And, I fell for that in some way at some point too in my life, because I grew up listening to Howard Stern. I still listen to him
Right.
to this day, and I
Yeah.
loved Howard. But he would talk politics all the time, and I would go around and tell people, I'll put Howard Stern up against anybody when you talk about politics. And I was an idiot. I didn't really understand.
Right.
And if I go back now and listen to some of the things that he was saying about politics, I'd be like, oh, Jesus.
About women.
About women, and that is, and I'm certainly not making an excuse for Howard Stern. Back then, it's just that the sad reality is that was not put down, and that was not, as that was accepted more.
Right.
And so this is why you're seeing now this influx of these dudes who used to be able, specifically white dudes, who used to be able to say whatever the fuck they wanted. They could say whatever they want, talk to women however they wanted. They can use the F word for gay people. They can use the N word. They could say whatever they wanted to. And now that is being stripped away from them piece by piece by piece, and that pisses them off. So they find a way to fight back. And so they use different words like woke, or, they use any other word other than the words that they can't use anymore, but they're still going on that path of being a fucking douchebag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're right.
So, but anyway, let's talk about, we can review 2023 a little bit and talk about what your expectations are for 2024. Did you make any New Year's resolutions, by the way? Are you not a New Year's resolution person?
No, I mean, I make resolutions every day of my life. Like
I'm
try.
glad.
Yeah. I strive to just do things that I didn't do before, like push myself to the max. Like that's just.
That is the exact right answer, because I'm not a resolution guy. Like if it's the first and I go, if they're trivial ones, I'll be like, all right, you know what I'm going to do. And in fact, I can't remember who said it. It was on one of these podcasts. I was like, that's going to be one of mine, but it's just trivial. Yeah. Like I will read a lot of books, but I'll get halfway through and not finish them.
Yeah, me
too. Every one of these books. That is going to be my my New Year's resolution. I got that idea from somebody else. I wish I can credit him, but If I remember, I'll bring it back up. But all right, so we had a 2023 that was absolutely crazy, and we are going to have a 2024 that is going to be probably the craziest, could be the best, could be the worst year in the history of this country. I don't see where it could be the best, unless the Dolphins somehow get their act together and win the Super Bowl. That'd be a good start. But outside of that,
there's another something that could happen, but I'm not going to say it on TV. I don't want the karma.
Are you talking about
Trump just falling off the face of the earth or something?
Yeah. I would not have a problem with that. I know, in a lot of circles, we're supposed to once somebody either passes or goes away, you're supposed to say something nice, but I have nothing nice to say about him. I have nothing nice to say about Ashley fucking Babbitt. She can go fuck herself. I got nothing to say nice about Rush Limbaugh. He can go fuck himself.
Like that guy.
Yeah, I just don't. And I would assume that, if Barack Obama died, there'd be a lot of people out there who probably wouldn't have a lot of nice things to say about him. So fuck them. And you know what? Before we move on to 2023, maybe you can explain, Lana, maybe you can't. What the fuck is everybody so excited about this Jeffrey Epstein list? Are you following that at all?
Not really. I just heard does the FBI have it or something like that? And they're going to release who's on it. And then they're like, oh, I wonder who's on it. People aren't going to be sleeping in 2024. Like
Ghislaine or whatever, Ghislaine Maxwell, her case is coming up, and apparently a list is coming out, and there are so.
Is that going to be in discovery? That must be part of her discovery if her trial is coming. Is that
yes, I think so. So apparently, this list is going to list people who were either going to the island or had any sort of travel. I don't know if it was expenses or whatever with Jeffrey Epstein. What this proves, I'm not really sure. I mean, it doesn't look good based on Jeffrey Epstein's past of having, sort of a sex ring of young girls. As we know that there's an actual court case that was filed with Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump raping a 13-year-old. Could you imagine anybody else on the left, if that court case, they would be talking about it every single fucking day.
They had a heart attack with Al Franken taking that picture when the woman was sleeping and like pretending he was touching her breast. Like, can you imagine?
Right.
But Trump just is like, they don't care. They don't care.
Trump's even on record saying that I like Jeffrey Epstein's a nice guy. He likes women like I do, and he likes them on the younger side. He made weird comments like that. He's made comments that he would sleep with his daughter if he wasn't his daughter. What the fuck are we?
Made comments of walking in on teenage girls naked.
Yeah. He said he could do it because it was his.
Yes, it described how he did it, what it looked like when he walked in. Like y'all, but they're just like. It goes wherever. They don't, that is disgusting. Like, it's just like, they could just walk in and see Trump doing something gross to their kid and they'd be like, sorry, Mr. President, and walk away. Like, seriously.
It's so bizarre, but I'm not even really sure what they're expecting from this Jeffrey Epstein list. I don't know why they're celebrating it. First of all, I don't think if there was anything nefarious done on whatever island or whatever it is, I'm not sure that's anything to celebrate anyway. I think it should be, and I don't care who the fuck is on it. And I don't care who they arrest. I don't care. They can arrest whoever. If somebody's proven to do something illegal, I don't care who you are. Go to jail. It doesn't matter to me. Two of my favorite people in the world, Dan Marino and Larry Bird, two of my heroes growing up, as sports. If they were on the list and they were found to do something guilty, they can go to fucking jail. I don't care.
Yeah.
But one other, fuck my clips. Damn it. This other fucking moron. This ex-quarterback, do you know Aaron Rodgers?
No.
Okay, so he's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And he signed a big contract with the New York Jets early in the year, or before the year started. Very first game, very first series, he goes down with an Achilles heel injury. He's out for the year, so he's got plenty of time. And he shows up weekly, I guess, on this Pat McAfee show. He's basically the Joe Rogan of sports talk in a way. And so he's on this show every week, and they're talking about whatever the fuck they're talking about. I love sports. I stopped watching ESPN. I stopped watching it. I know, especially stop watching it now because it used to be just about sports.
Right.
Now they're delving into other shit. So this Aaron Rodgers character is talking for some reason about the Jeffrey Epstein client list.
I did hear that. I heard.
And I figured you would when I brought it up. And he had mentioned something because Jimmy Kimmel's made a couple jokes about him. So he says that he bets when he can't wait till the Epstein. First of all, this is on a sports fucking show.
Funny.
On ESPN that is run by Disney there's a guy being interviewed saying that a guy that works for Disney, ABC, Jimmy Kimmel, is going to be on this list. He knows it. He knows he's going to be on the list.
They're all laughing. I'm like, what?
They're doing that. Oh God. For me, if I'm the host, I go, all right, cut this off. And then I just have to tell Aaron, hey bro,
right.
I can't have you on again. This is
right.
corny. But of course they won't do that. Maybe ESPN will. He can't do that because he's going to be looked at as cancel culture, but he said something fucking so egregious that could get the fucking channel sued. It could get the show sued. It could get him sued.
Right.
So, when you say shit like that and you have no proof, you should be sued because Jimmy Kimmel responded, if you saw it, called him an asshole and said basically to the extent, I've never flown. I've never met the guy. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And you're endangering my family. And if you want to continue running your fucking mouth, then we can have this debate in court.
He should just go to court. He should go to court. I wouldn't even have said anything. I would have just went to court. Like, the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you say that about someone?
Because he here's the problem. You get into that sort of arena with the bros, and you think you could just say, and everything's hilarious and everything's a joke, and still in that circle, calling women the C word and all that stuff is still cool and funny in that circle. It's so when you're in that circle, but he just doesn't get, because he's not smart. He's too stupid to realize he's on national TV, but he thinks he's in the bro circle so he can say it.
Right.
So
Yeah. And did he apologize? I bet not. He probably didn't say nothing after that.
Apology. I'm sure it's going to be some stupid, weak ass apology, and it's going to be one of those. Just like he's the same guy. We talked about it on the show before that he called out Dr. Fauci, and he wants to have a debate.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
He wants attention, huh? What an idiot.
He really does. Well, he wants attention so bad that he claimed that. Because he got this Achilles heel injury. There's not a doctor, not any medical professional that agreed with him. But he claimed that his was going to heal up so fast. First of all, when you get an Achilles injury, injury on the first game of the season, you are out until next. It might even take you a game or two to come back until next season. He claimed because of his, his holistic, whatever the fuck it is he thinks he is, that he healed up his Achilles, that he was going to be back on the field before the end of the year. And then the Jets lost the game. They were knocked out of the playoffs. So he was like, well, there's no reason for me to come back now.
I would have loved for him to just go run out there and just fall on his fucking face.
Yeah, I would have too. Yeah, come back from that Achilles injury where no human being in the history of humans done it. But this fucking moron.
Like there's a name. It's named like Achilles heel is something. It's capitalized.
Right, Achilles heel is associated with something that holds you back, or is something that is detrimental to moving forward.
That's how bad it is.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, god damn. And this
is when Brad Pitt got that injury to his Achilles.
Right.
Yeah. Trojan horse or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
It was
So
done.
we're losing brain cells, Lana, and that's where now we go into 2024. And you and I had talked, and there were a lot of times where I was not concerned, and that Biden's still going to win this thing easily. I still believe that he's going to win. But there are concerns. There are concerns with polling. There are concerns with messaging. There are concerns with, just the people who are spouting anything that they want to without any repercussions or without any fact checking. Or even if you do fact check, it gets to a point where it's kind of like you shrug your shoulders and go, doesn't matter. Eternally and emotionally, that feels better for me. So I'm just going to go with that.
Yeah.
What are your expectations for 2024?
For real?
Yeah, real.
I mean, I think that we are going to pull it together. I think that, the Gen Zers, they're going to pull it together. The people of color. I think, I don't think as many Republican women are going to vote. Maybe they will vote for Trump as president, but the local elections, they may not vote for those local politicians because this abortion issue is going to grow, and the list of women is going to get larger. I mean, we saw what Texas did today, the Fifth Circuit. Was it today or yesterday? I can't remember. What the Fifth Circuit was like, no, there is no emergency abortion. Can you imagine that you're in the emergency room and the doctor cannot perform if your life is in danger? An emergency abortion. Government overreach. Biden overreach when he said, remember, hospitals, you're supposed to provide emergency care, but that's overreach.
Yeah. It's, I just don't understand it. Any human that seems to be alive and well, they just don't seem to care about, but somehow they care about these babies. They care about, they want them born. But then after that, they just don't. It's like, fuck it. All right, now you're born. It's like you're on your own.
Yeah, fuck it. Baby's gonna die after it takes it. I keep reading about, and it's interesting because women are dropping stories in my DMs now. So it's really interesting because I do just about every day I'm putting someone's story up there. But women are giving birth to babies that are non-viable outside of the uterus. So they're watching them gasp for air, and then die.
Yeah.
Live and die in all of a few fucking minutes. How torturous is that?
Yeah.
I just tweeted about a woman I just read about in Texas, because Texas is where this is happening right now, about the no emergency abortions. She was pregnant with twins. They did an ultrasound. The twins were not only were they conjoined, but their spines were wrapped around each other, and the organs were all outside of the body. Organs here, organs there, weren't even fully developed organs, but heartbeat.
Well, that means everything, obviously.
That means everything. That means you have to carry it to term. That's asinine. These twins are not going to live.
I mean, isn't that, wouldn't you, if you're a religious person, isn't that God's way of saying that these children should not be on earth? Is that a way to look at it if you're a religious person?
Right. So now this woman and her family, she's every doctor's visit, because she's got to continue to go to these doctor's visits, wanting some type of hope. Maybe this visit they'll see something different. Maybe it was a mistake. Every visit, from when she found out at 4 months to the end, right? And I guess the doctor, when he was non-viable, the doctor walked out of the room because there's nothing else he can say to her because he's at risk. So the nurse comes back with a post-it note with just the name of an abortion clinic in New Mexico. This woman already had 2 kids. Her husband works long shifts. can barely get the time off to go to the doctor with her. So they just could not go. So she had to carry this fetuses to term, knowing that this was going on. Gave birth via C-section. Like, it's a whole, the article is so in depth because it's just like her every thought while she's lying on the table, fighting to stay awake because they were putting her to sleep, but she's fighting to stay awake because she wanted a glimpse of the twins before they died, or maybe they won't die, or maybe they'll live past a few minutes. Maybe I'll get 10 minutes. Like, so she didn't want any of the time wasted under anesthesia. And like, she just, she went out, and then it, she was knocked out from the anesthesia. And when they delivered the baby's C-section, the father was there, put the babies in his arm. Again, they're mangled and intertwined. He looks down and he just starts crying. And then he thought they died because they stopped breathing, but there was intermittent heartbeat. So they were still kind of alive. Like, and she wakes up, and then now they had to wrap the babies because underneath is just, it shows all of that. It's just a horrible story. And it's not that she's not just the one. Then it told the story of her having to name, then get a funeral, plan a funeral, her other children going to the funeral for these twins. She had to bury these fucking babies. They took a couple of breaths and they were dead.
It's a testament to what you're saying, where she's fighting to stay awake because she wants to see these babies regardless of the outcome of what's going to happen. So that is a testament to something that I will never experience, is that the bond between the mother and those children basically says she's not doing this because she wants to do it. She's doing it because she has to do it. Wow. And why anybody would come out and go, nah. They got a heartbeat, so we're going to keep going, and then you're going to pay for these medical bills afterward, and you're going to
bills. And her and her husband and her family will never forget that day. That will be etched. She will probably be afraid to have any more children after that traumatic experience. Who wants to try? She wanted this. They wanted another baby. Like, they wanted this.
Yeah.
Why would you ever try? Like, that's
scary. Well, you have that story. You have the other woman in Texas that happened to. This isn't just a one-off. This is something that will happen over and over and over again. And these stories are going to continue to come out. And my guess is that when this election does come around, people are going to have to face some serious truths, and they're really going to have to look in the mirror and go, all right, I don't like Joe Biden. For what reason? I still don't have any fucking idea. I don't know why you don't like Joe Biden, but whatever. It is what it is. Maybe you don't like the way he's handling Israel, Palestine, even though you probably never said the words Israel or Palestine prior to this happening. But the alternative is not just somebody who's not going to do anything for the country, somebody who's probably going to fuck this country up for a very long time. Unless, of course, somehow the Democrats can win the House, they can win the Senate, and just get through this horrific 4 years. So he can't change anything. He can't do anything to stay in office. He can't do anything to pass laws.
That's our only saving grace. But God willing, we get the House and the Senate and the president.
At the very least, the House.
Right. So we just need. Oh, go ahead.
You're right. I mean, that's what it is. So I look, and I've also saw, they talk about this polling a lot, and we've talked about polling on the show. How much do we trust it? How much do we not trust it? I do see, by the way, there are polls out there that have Joe Biden leading, but you wouldn't know that because even Washington Post doesn't cover it. The New York Times doesn't cover it unless it's their own poll. And they probably would take a poll and Joe Biden's winning. They'd be like, let's not cover that one. Let's wait till Trump's leading so we can cover that. Because that to get a lot more hits on our website.
Correct.
But there are polls indicating that if Trump is indicted and is found guilty, that you will have a lot of people come out and say, God damn, I didn't really understand or realize how serious this was. Now I do. So now I'm not voting for this guy, which again, just the fact that he's at 91 indictments,
Right, right.
I don't know of anybody in the history of mankind that has been indicted on 91 felony counts and was not guilty of at least one of them.
Exactly, exactly. Like it's not that much two-tier justice system in the world, not 91 counts. Like
Yeah.
who's got that kind of time to even like, set you up for 91 counts? Like, what is this? How is that happening?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, let's talk about the worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is Donald Trump wins, the Republicans win the House, and the Republicans win the Senate. That is obviously
Then
our
we
worst.
all die. We just
Yeah. I mean, at that point, what does this country look like? Where are we heading? And will we have, and again, a lot of the things that have been said about Donald Trump for years was considered, as hyperbolic, but some of it, and maybe even a lot of it, has come true. So I don't think anything and any suggestion that we may make about Donald Trump and what America would look like is hyperbolic at this point. So,
Right.
If they win the House, if they win the Senate, does he find a way to change the laws to stay president forever?
That would be his goal. That is his goal. He said day one he wants to be a dick and a dictator.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. He said it was only for the first day, but I mean, come on. Sean Hannity was trying to bail him out. He still didn't even take the bait. He still went on and with the dictator thing. And you know what? I mean, fucking, how many more clips do we have to see of him praising dictators, of him praising the way Kim Jong-un has his people in line, as he calls it? Like, how do you look at that and then just think that you're going to be okay later? By the way, I'm not really sure where these people are voting for him think that this is going to benefit them, because a lot of these Trump voters do and are going to rely on their Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security. And if they get their way, that'll be gone. And I don't know at that point, who do they blame it on?
Right. They're not thinking long term. They're thinking the short term, like, oh, Trump is funny. He's hilarious. He sticks it to the libs. Like they live for that. And meanwhile, as we say, Republicans are picking their pocket. And yeah, we probably should talk about a Trump presidency with Republicans having the House and the Senate. Like that's so bad that there would be no voting, right? Like it's like
I
people
mean,
tell us to
they
get
would
your vote.
definitely change the voting laws to
The
make it
Voting Rights Act will be
possible.
gutted. Like if
It's
they got
gone.
they got rid of affirmative action, they're gonna say, you don't need a Voting Rights Act. No one's stopping you from voting.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they're stopping you from voting. Like that's just the point. He's already said that he was going to only have loyalists and people who are loyal to the Republican Party or loyal to him. So that means that anyone in government who they believe is not loyal to them
Yep.
are going to get fired from their job. Like, have y'all really thought about this? Wow.
I'm telling you, they haven't, and I'm hoping as time goes on that it's going to start creeping into their heads a bit on, what exactly this is going to mean. We talk about guns and stuff like that, and everybody acts like only Republicans own guns. We have Democrats that own guns, but it's the opposite thing when it comes to MAGA and Republicans. Do you know a lot of MAGA Republicans are benefiting from Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act?
Yes.
Going to be gone,
Yes.
and they are going to now have medical bills out their ass, and they just don't understand.
Nope.
They don't understand. They have no idea this insulin is benefiting them. The fact that Joe Biden is going to get pharmaceutical companies to negotiate their prices now is going to benefit them, but that will be gone. They don't get it. And the reason why they want to vote for Trump is because like you just said, they think he's hilarious. My dad was telling me the other day, he was talking to somebody, and she was indicating the reason why she likes Donald Trump is because she just likes how he talks.
Yeah, he sticks it to the libs. He's not politically correct, but it's like he wants to take your Social Security. Like, how is that's funny? Ha ha he. Like, what are you, crazy? It's just
I've said a million times, that's how you pick your favorite professional wrestler, the way they talk, not your fucking president.
right. Do you? I mean, it's just, I just, it makes me shake my head because I can't. It's just the thought of it. Like, we'll be alone. Our allies will not be our allies. He's going to pull us out of NATO. We will be attacked, or he'll be blackmailing or trying to, pay people not to attack us, right? Like
Or be
was doing it.
blackmailed. Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right,
yeah,
exactly. Because we won't have any allies. That means we're going to be open for ISIS or whoever else wants to attack us. So he's going to have to give them money to keep them all at bay so they won't, weapons and shit. Like, that's
yeah,
what's going to happen.
yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, this is our worst case scenario,
Mm.
and the sad reality is it's possible. So, I figure maybe we'll get the worst possible outcome out of the way. Then, of course, we have the Republicans win the House still, Democrats win the Senate, Donald Trump wins. So we can mix that all together, whether it's
Yeah.
House, Senate. That would help a little bit if one or the other wins, because then there's no laws passed. He's going to
Right.
basically be sort of a lame duck president because he
Right.
won't be able to do anything other
Yeah,
than
but
run
we
a
don't want that because then he doesn't go to jail. Then he doesn't face anything. Then he continues to like we can't have that, everyone, even if like it sounds good and he's a lame duck, because there's still damage that he can do.
Yes. Yes. Well, that is, we'll get to that
And he's
scenario.
pardoning all kinds of insurrectionists. You get a pardon. You get a pardon.
Yeah. Yeah. But that leads to another scenario, is one that you just brought up. A realistic scenario too is this motherfucker going to jail. So I'm still unclear as to how many trials we'll see before the
probably one.
yeah, before the election. Is that what you I mean,
I
I've
think
heard
it's just
maybe
the
1 to
one.
2, but it's definitely not going to be
What
all.
would be the second one?
So what I'm thinking, one of the ones I think are going to happen after, obviously, is that
Florida.
classified documents case, which
Right.
sucks because that's a slam dunk.
That's the one, exactly.
That's a slam fucking dunk. There's no that he wants to get past that one so bad because there is no fucking way, zero chance on this. It is the dumbest jury of all time. There is no way of getting away with that one. If you read the indictment, I would just suggest to anybody who has not read the indictment, about 40 some pages long. It's an easy read. It might take you a half hour or so. Read it, because you would read it and go, this guy's fucked. He's fucked.
Yeah. And you know what? I don't care what anyone says. I don't care about what these analysts are saying on MSNBC, CNN. I think that judge was put there. You cannot tell me just by the luck of the draw, we got what's her face. Like,
I think the only reason why I would say, because, well, it is the state of Florida.
yeah, stop playing right now. Stop playing. They're like, oh no, they put them in whatever the names in this and they whatever in the clerk. Stop playing right now. Do we really think that these government officials, these law people, don't have people in high places that maneuver and manipulate? Are we really to think that cannot happen in Florida?
If I was more in tune with the process, I think I'd be able to make a more informed. But you're right. It is unbelievable that it just so happened to be Eileen Cannon is the one who is going to be presiding over this case. I'm not really sure of the process on how you pick that judge. I don't know if there are other people in the room that represent all sides. I have no idea. But if it's the case where it just happens to be somebody who's, I don't know, pulling something out, I don't know how they do it, because like you said, it was just a random choice.
Yeah.
And who actually saw it and who actually was responsible, who knows? I don't know. And maybe I'll look into that a little bit more too.
Yeah, I don't believe it. But anyway.
But the other case, I think the Stormy Daniels case could
Oh,
happen.
right.
You know, that's not everybody's favorite. Don't
Yeah.
let everybody. You know, don't get me wrong. Anytime this guy's under indictment and under federal investigation, it's fun. But the other one, I guess, is the insurrection one that we have a chance of happening before.
Yeah, because the trial is set for before.
Oh,
Trial is
what
set.
about Georgia?
No, that trial isn't that later? Because I think
It was May,
finally,
wasn't it? Georgia was
I
May.
thought she requested something. Was that me? I don't remember. Because what was DC March? Is that the March
Yeah,
trial?
that's the March one. That's, I believe, the insurrection one, and then I believe Georgia was May.
Did she get May? I can't remember because I thought she was.
Now,
Is that Trump or the other people? Because remember they're being tried wait, are there trials
are you?
before Trump?
Can you look it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, look it up, and you know, we'll discuss a little bit more. See if you can look up, because I thought the Trump one was May, and I thought maybe they'd try to get two of them in before those two. But it looks like the insurrection one should happen, but that's going to be delayed. From my understanding, is there's no way it happens in March, but it will. You know, once they figure out everything, that it still should happen and end before the end of the election.
Um, Georgia. Okay, prosecutors in Georgia have proposed a start date of August 5th, 2024
Oh, okay.
for the remaining defendants. So may be someone else because remember the trials got broken up. I can't remember the people's name, but
Yeah, yeah.
someone else having a trial
That
before
was the
Trump.
Sydney. Wasn't that Sidney Powell and
Yeah, something right, right. And she
yeah, yeah.
proposed Trump trial August 5th, 2024. And I don't even think they got the date yet. She proposed it.
Okay. All right. Well, you know, obviously you got to get it.
And
But you
that
know,
won't and that's so late. That's right before November. There's no way that would be heard before November.
yeah, and that's, like I said, that's kind of a shame. But you know, we got to get at least one of these trials in, and that goes back to what I believe you said on the show before a long time ago. Was, you know, Merrick Garland kind of pussyfooting around
He
and
did.
maybe not putting his foot on the gas a little quicker than he should have.
Yeah.
But I do feel confident we should at least see one of these trials, and
Yeah.
how he is not
Chetkin.
indicted in at least some counts.
Yeah.
You know,
I think Chetkin, although it's on hold right now, I think the appeals court, I think next week is going to listen to the immunity thing next week because they're fast tracking that. So that's
right. Didn't the Supreme Court have it, but then just said they're not going to?
They kicked it back to the appeal court and said let the appeal court go first because remember, Jack Smith was like, you guys just listen to it now because we already know that this is where it's headed. But they're like, no, let it go its course. And everyone thinks like, of course, the appeals court is going to say, of course, you're not immune. And they believe that the Supreme Court is going to be like, we're just going to leave it there and go with that and not hear it. Because the Supreme Court doesn't have to hear it. Why do they? They don't want to. Yeah, they don't need to hear it. He's not fucking immune. If that's the case, fucking Biden doesn't have to leave. Like if presidents are immune, why he should just never fucking leave? What are y'all gonna do to him? It's not a crime.
I have news for you. I mean, I know it's something that would never happen, but if I'm president, I'm like, listen, if this guy's going to be able to do whatever the fuck he wants and he's able to get, then you know what? I'm staying president forever, and you can't.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they can't do it. We know Biden wouldn't do it, but he fucking could do anything. Yeah. Pass some fucking laws that are what is a crime. I didn't know. I'm immune.
Yeah.
What are y'all talking about?
Just insanity. This country's gone fucking crazy. And the fact that we're even giving a shred of credibility.
And we have to talk about that. The news has to talk about that.
Yes.
Stupid. Is Trump immune or not? Because he was our president's immune. Even immune inside the White House, and then years after leaving the White House.
Right.
Just still immune.
Yep. It's like I said, we're living in crazy times where we're ignoring one thing that is incredibly batshit crazy, and we're both sizing things like, you know, we got to be fair here. And again, that drives me in fucking insane because we're not at a time anymore where we're being fair, we're being
No.
honest is what we're being. And it's okay to be honest. Honesty is fair. So if you come out and say, this guy's a fucking nut, this guy, you might not like him, but he's not a nut and he's not going to be an authoritarian figure, that's okay that the news says that. I think that's fine. Instead of me going to the Washington Post going, let's compare Donald Trump's economy versus Joe Biden's economy. It's like, get the fuck out of here. Donald Trump's economy. Donald Trump's economy was good because he did nothing other than the other thing too is you saw the debt reached 34 trillion, and a good amount of that debt came from his tax cuts that he made
Yeah.
when he was president.
Yeah.
And so that's
to the rich. Tax cuts to the rich.
To the rich. That's
not
correct.
to
Yeah.
the normal people.
Yeah, thank you for pointing that out, because that's very important. It's tax breaks for the ultra rich,
Right, ultra rich.
and the reason why we have a deficit now is because they're not paying their fair share of taxes. So that, of course, increases the deficit. That's how that works.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it just drives me crazy that they don't say this kind of stuff. And I think it's irresponsible.
What do you think, real quick? I know we have to keep moving, but the NRA and LaPierre.
I heard something recently. Remind me.
So
isn't he in trouble? He's in trouble.
Yeah, right, for using the whatever. What are those contributions or whatever?
Yeah, but has he been doing that for years?
Yeah, and I thought they were in trouble before, which is interesting because I'm like, why are they in trouble right now?
Yeah.
But I thought I heard them in trouble before. Like, I thought that something was taken away from them.
They were close to being bankrupt.
Yeah. So I don't know.
But maybe it wasn't Wayne LaPierre specific. Maybe it was something to do with the organization.
Right, maybe.
But this is him specifically, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. With the DOJ investigating him, right, for taking his contributions or whatever, those fees that people pay to the NRA and having luxury trips. And he's trying to say like the luxury trips and the things that he was doing was all like related to, I don't know, client or business or something.
Clarence Thomas, maybe.
Right, exactly, of course.
That's not that shit crazy thing. That we're just ignoring that. We're just completely ignoring that. And we're also ignoring the fact that I haven't heard Clarence Thomas take himself out of this potential ruling with, well, I guess we'd have to wait to see if there's any kind of ruling with the Supreme Court. But if he does not take himself off that case, especially with his wife being involved, then again, what do we do? This country, I keep hearing about, why don't we let the voters decide? And I'm like, yeah, that's nice and dandy and all, but then what's the fucking point of the Constitution? What are the point of laws? I don't understand why we have them if we're not going to abide by them, or we're not going to make people held accountable.
But they don't even let the voters decide because they doggone gerrymander and red line in fucking districts. So the voters aren't really deciding.
Correct. But plus you're also, because of probably one of the worst decisions in the history of America, and the Supreme Court is the Citizens United. We're allowing multi-millions of dollars. So basically you're buying so much ad space for the candidate that you want to run that's all you see. So now that's all you associate with. How many times do you think voters go in and they just see the president's names, then they see all the other names, have no fucking idea who they're voting for, but they say, oh, this is the guy I see on TV.
Yeah.
He shot a fucking beer can on TV, and I thought that was cool, so I'm going to just vote for him.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, best case scenario, 2024, other than Donald Trump going to jail. Well, even if he goes to jail, he could still win the presidency. And, other than the Georgia case, which appears as if not going to happen, the Georgia case is the one case where if he does go to jail, he cannot, immune himself.
Exactly.
So him going to jail would be awesome. And Biden winning would be even better. Now, if he doesn't go to jail before Biden wins, does he flee the country?
Yeah, he's fucked on election night. If Biden wins, he is just done. He's
Yeah.
done.
He's done, other than him sneaking out of the country in the middle of the
Right.
night. I mean,
Yeah,
and
he's
that's a
absolutely
strong
done.
possibility.
Yeah, he's absolutely done. This is it. It's the last hurrah.
I mean, if we just kind of package everything we just been talking about, if you and I started a podcast, let's say podcast never exists, but we figured out how to do the very first one 15 years ago, and we were saying shit like this, how quickly we might even be arrested for talking
Right.
something as incredibly fucking stupid as what we're talking about now. But this is a real possibility in the next 10, 11 months coming up is going to be so fucking nuts that
Yeah.
you almost, this is going to be like watching a scary movie for basically everybody, because you have people on the other side who think if Joe Biden wins, their whole world is over, that it's done, America's shut down, which is stupid.
They can't tell us why. They
No,
just
they
say
can't.
they
Well, that's the
can
thing.
yell at and say, "Oh, it's gonna be awful."
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Joe Biden's going to have us all, I don't even know what the fuck
Right,
to say.
exactly. What comes next?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just so crazy, but hopefully Joe Biden can win. I am starting to, and we've talked about it on this show, and I had zero um, worries about it, but I am starting to worry about any kind of third party candidate a little bit, because obviously that is going to favor Donald Trump. I guess unless it was Robert Kennedy Jr., because the
Right.
understanding was that it could benefit Biden a little bit more, because Trump voters would consider voting for
I don't even
Robert
hear
Kennedy.
about the third party candidates, to be honest with you. Like, I don't. It seems like their presence is very small.
So
Yeah.
far. I guess this no labels shit is still trying to press something through.
Yes,
Um,
it may be a little late for that. And who the hell likes Joe Manchin? On either
Right.
side. Like, on either side, who likes Joe Manchin?
yeah, he seems to rub people the wrong way on both sides.
Yeah, right. He wasn't a Republican, so MAGAs be like, fuck that dude.
Yeah.
Democrats are like, fuck that dude. Like,
Yeah, you're right. I mean, and that is weird. And I'm not sure the strategy of running a Joe Manchin, because you're right. Other than, I mean, somehow you got the reddest state in the United States to vote for a Democratic
yeah,
Senate.
yeah. He's a
So
coal guy, maybe that's why.
I guess I don't know, but
Some coal mines.
but it is something to keep an eye on. And I don't know. I guess we'll see later on down the line. But I think our best case scenario is, what do we run on? We run on, first of all, obviously the main one's going to be the abortion. Then of course you have a record that you can run on that is so fucking strong that you shouldn't be ashamed of it. You should be out there spouting it all over the place. And you also should be running on the fact that if you allow Donald Trump to become your president, this could be the last election that you could ever, vote in. And that is, again, it sounds hyperbolic, but with this guy and people's evil Steve Bannon and that Miller cat or whatever, that is a strong possibility. Explain to me how it's not.
Yeah, of course it is. He wanted to seize ballot machines.
Right. I mean, they convinced half the country that their vote doesn't count anyway, because it's just going to get changed by the fucking Democrat, which is it's so stupid to believe that could possibly happen.
How? What's this how?
I think it's a mental thing in a way. I think you just have people who choose to believe and want to believe whatever they want to, because it just fits whatever. I don't know if it's rage, I don't know if it's anger, I don't know if it's disappointment, I don't know what it is, but there's something internally about a person that decides that they want to believe whatever somebody tells them without doing any investigation whatsoever. I don't care. And it has even nothing to do with going to college, I mean, even if you are a high school dropout, there's some high school dropouts who are very bright. There are people, but this idea that I'm just going to take your word for it because it sounds good and it connects with something inside of me that is not right, is sad and confusing.
Yeah, he's really talking their language. He's a master at that. He's nothing like them. doesn't want to shake their hands, would never visit them in their homes. Joe Biden is the guy
Yeah.
who would go to your house and sit down on your couch to console you.
He would literally ask for your phone number. If he
Right.
saw something that you were truly bothered by, he would
And
give
we've
you your phone
seen
number,
it. We've heard
call
this.
you off camera.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We've heard those stories. Trump's not doing that. Like, I never forget Sergeant what was his name? LaJohnson, David LaJohnson. He was murdered. His military was murdered over there in I forgot what part of Africa. Black man.
Yeah.
And he didn't call the widow, but then he was urged to call the widow, and then called the widow and said the wrong name.
Yep. And is that the same one that he said, well, he knew what he got himself into?
Absolutely. Yes. Told the widow that.
Yeah. So this is the same guy who's been quoted on record as saying that soldier or military people are suckers and losers. The same guy who had a chance to go to a military ceremony, but it was raining outside. He didn't want to drive and get his hair wet, apparently. Same guy that there was another one recently that where there was a wounded soldier in a wheelchair or whatever, and he looks over at the guy and says, "Why do you bring out guys like that? Nobody wants to see that." And these are like, again, if anybody had said that any Democrat had said this would be on Fox News See, and this is why it's not genuine. None of this is genuine. And the fact that they could wake up and look at themselves in the mirror and basically just say bile about everything Democrat, and all the bile is coming from the Republican Party, but they won't say a fucking word about it, is disgusting.
We saw him make fun of disabled people.
Correct.
We saw that. That was the craziest thing, and it's just gotten worse from there.
Actually, you know what the craziest thing is? The craziest thing is that we saw it, but Trump supporter will still try to convince us that he didn't do that.
Right. He was just joking. He wasn't making fun of them. Like,
it's like, oh, you guys are so that's it. He was joking. It's like he does that all the time. That's the crazy part, is that you convince grown adults that this guy is smart, good at business, a man of God. I mean, you laugh at all three of those as quickly as I say them. And it's like, how do people buy into this? And this motherfucker might be president again. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Happy 2024. Happy New Year.
Dude, I don't know.
I don't know either. But you know what? Here's what's going to happen, Lana. You and I, we're going to get through this year.
Yeah.
As much as we can together here. We're going to do our part, do everything we can. We're going to spread the word, whether it be on our podcasts here or if it's on locally with people we talk to. And, I try to talk to as many people as I can that will at least listen. I've given up on there might be a person who thinks they're a Trump supporter that I think that I can talk into not doing it again this time. If you got the hardcore MAGAs, I'm not even wasting my time.
Yeah.
But get anybody you can to help them understand, because a lot of people don't follow this stuff as much as you and I do. As I've said before, I do believe 85 to 90% of the country is politically stupid. And, again, it sounds like I'm being, but it's just true. It's just, they know nothing. I mean, know something, know half of it, something. But to walk through not knowing any of this stuff is just, it's a mind blowing.
But we used to be those people too, so
well, we did, but you know what? We did something about it. But but I'm talking about people our age. I'm talking about people.
That is
I
true.
know
Right.
people our age who said they've never voted in their lives, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? But
Yeah.
they have plenty of opinions about it. They got all kinds of opinions, but never voted. And I'm just like,
Right. Right.
wait a minute. I mean, I'd rather you vote, and then I'll listen to your opinions.
Right. Right.
But anyway, Lana, do you have anything else you'd like to close the show out with? It's a happy New Year. We're all going to smile. We're all going to have a good year, I think.
Yes, we are going to have a good year. Good things are going to happen. Trump
Yes.
is going to go to jail.
Trump's going to jail. The economy almost has to get
Yeah.
to a point. Well, first of all, I want to say the economy is rolling. The economy's been rolling for quite some time.
Yeah.
And it's going to get to a point now where there's going to be no denying it. You can't deny it. The only thing I think right now holding back the economy is a little bit where Biden still would love to see these interest rates come down on mortgages, because I will tell you, being in the business, people fucking love buying houses. They love going on Zillow. They love looking at them all day long. But we are getting back, and we are, I'm already having my busiest January that I've ever had in the business.
Nice.
Which is good.
Mhm.
So, we are seeing an uptick, and we are seeing a lot of exciting things. And I think as the year goes on, we're going to get more and more excited. Doesn't mean we're not going to be scared during the year. Doesn't mean things aren't going to freak us the fuck out.
Right.
But we'll talk it through, and we'll figure it out together. And, we'll make this a good 2024 regardless.
Yeah.
Now, the Dolphins, I'm not going to go too much further into this. Very possible in 10 days from now, their season that I had such high hopes for, that I was ready to go to Vegas for the Super Bowl, could be over in 10 days from now. Let's hope that doesn't.
Not. Right. Maybe not. Maybe not.
Well, of course, maybe not. So that's what we need to go with. And Lana, instead of you laughing at me about it, now you're laughing even harder about it. I need you to just somehow put out some positive vibes.
Yes, I'll try to get past Ron DeSantis and give you some positive vibes.
Yeah, you got to get it through that fucking guy. I don't know if
Gotta get over him.
If he's anti-Dolphin, I'm in big trouble. Get through Ron DeSantis. Send me some positive vibes, because the hair that I have left will be gone.
Yeah,
my sanity might be
hard. Yeah, rooting for anything Florida is just that's a tough one.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we'll wrap it up, and we will be on tomorrow night on the Quest Show. My first appearance in the Quest Show.
Yes.
Oh my God! I'll be getting my hair done. I'll be getting extra workout. Make sure I'm jacked up and ready. By the way, I did have one thing that I did stop today, and so I might have come across a little irritated. But the energy drinks, I'm done. I'm cutting them out.
Oh, wait, what? Oh, they had your nerves going, or
it's just they're awful. They are poisonous. They are poison, those drinks. Do you drink them?
No. I drink coffee.
Yeah. So I know they're just terrible for you. So, but it just has so much caffeine that I always have one in the morning.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, it doesn't even make me feel all that much better.
Right.
But not being on caffeine for a couple of days is a little irritating. So
yeah, that is hard. See, I just drink coffee.
Yeah, and I might switch to coffee, because I think there are healthier benefits to coffee, and caffeine's not in and of itself unhealthy, but when you mix it with those horrible energy, they're basically drinking.
The energy drink is I can't I could never do like the Red Bulls and stuff.
Yeah,
mean, coffee, that caffeine is enough, like, because you feel it if you're late getting your coffee, like you don't get it at the same time every day. You're like, why do I have that?
Yeah,
cloudy, fuzzy feelings.
Like, yeah. So I that's I'll get through it. And I've stopped these drinks before, so I know I can do it. But I'm gonna try to do this one permanently this time. So
yeah, but you have to like replace it with something, I guess.
Yeah, I'll fit maybe coffee. Maybe that's what I'll do. But here's my problem. I know we're trying to wrap this up, but my problem is I have zero patience. So I want to drink the coffee instantly, and it burns my tongue, and I hate that. I hate it.
Hilarious.
Did you wait, or do you drink instantly, or is your tongue okay? Can you take the hot?
Well, I mean, I make it at work, so it has the top on it because I'm making it at work, so I'm not drinking it from the. Well, when I'm home, I drink it off the. I mean, I guess I sip it. I'm not guzzling it.
Even the sip, though, that little burn doesn't get you.
Maybe my Keurig doesn't make it as hot as yours. I don't. It's like,
Maybe you never thought about it. Now you're mentally gonna think
yeah, like how hot is your coffee? Maybe by the time I sit down and drink it, it's not as hot anymore.
Yeah. All right. Well, a little coffee talk there. Happy New Year to you, Lana. And tomorrow night, I don't think I finished this. I will be on the Quest show.
Yeah.
We are going to be interviewing.
Believe in Stephen Holden, New York 21.
He is running against Elise Stefanik, who,
Yes.
if you know who she is,
Boo.
she is an awful human being, awful person. And we would love to see him beat her. And we are going to interview him together. So please check us out tomorrow night at 8 o'clock on the Quest show. And come back to see us again next week. And we should be back next Tuesday. Are you good next Tuesday?
Yes.
All right. So we'll be back next Tuesday on the Black and White Show with Brian Rundle and Lana Quest.
It was Wednesday. So confused with my dates right now. Sorry. Today was Wednesday.
Yeah, it confused me too. So just know, tomorrow's Thursday, right?
Yeah, but I don't know why I keep forgetting.
Because I had a day off on Monday.
Yeah, and I was off yesterday.
Oh,
I was running around, so that is what got me mixed up because I was off for an extra day. So
that makes sense. Yep, got it. All right. Well, Happy New Year, Lana, and
yes,
all night.
Yes, see you later.
Good night.
Pop on a little early tomorrow.
I will.
Like
I'll get on
7:30 or so.
15 minutes.
Well, or 7:30, 7:40, because I told him 7:45 so that we can get familiar.
I'll be there 7:30. All right. You know me.
All right.
I'll be right on time.
No. Bye.
Bye.